The cries of seagulls pierced the bright California sky, mixing with the laughter of tourists and the hum of buskers strumming guitars along Santa Monica Pier. But amid that sunshine and joy, cruelty cast its shadow. A young girl, barely 17, maneuvered her wheelchair toward the end of the pier where the ocean stretched endlessly before her. Her name was Marissa Cole, and every push of her arms was a quiet battle. Born with a spinal condition, she had grown used to the whispers, the sideways glances, the pity, but nothing could prepare her for what was about to happen that day. Move. Cripple. The words cracked like a whip across the air, venomous and sharp. A group of teenage boys, taller and stronger, crowded around her. Their sneakers scuffed the wooden planks of the pier as one of them leaned down, sneering at her with eyes that held no mercy. Before Marissa could react, a cruel kick landed on the side of her wheelchair, jolting her small frame and nearly tipping her into the railing. Her hands flew to steady herself, but another shove came, harder this time. Laughter erupted from the boys as if tormenting her was sport, as if her existence was some twisted joke. If you believe no one should ever be treated this way and that kindness and second chances matter, please pause for a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, always kind, and share this story to remind the world that compassion still matters. Marissa's heart pounded. She wanted to scream, to call for help, but her voice felt trapped inside her throat. The crowd nearby turned their heads, some staring with discomfort, others pretending not to see. That silence, the refusal to intervene, cut deeper than the boy's cruel words. Tears burned her eyes, but she clenched her jaw, refusing to let them fall. She had spent her whole life proving that her disability did not define her, and yet here she was, being reduced to nothing more than an insult on the lips of strangers. One of the boys reached for the bag strapped to the back of her wheelchair and yanked it free, tossing it onto the ground as if it were trash. Another leaned down, grinning maliciously, and said something about her never belonging in a place like this, where people came to walk, run, dance, and live fully. Each word was a dagger, each laugh a reminder of her isolation. The world, it seemed, had no space for her. But then something shifted. A sound rose in the distance, low at first, like thunder rolling off the horizon. The bullies paused, glancing around as if unsure of what they heard. The sound grew louder, closer, engines roaring in unison, tires rumbling against the boardwalk, the unmistakable growl of motorcycles. And then, like a tide, they arrived, dozens of bikers, their chrome machines gleaming under the midday sun, rolled onto the pier. Black leather jackets, helmets with tinted visors, tattoos etched on arms that had seen more than their share of battles. A sea of bikers, stretching as far as Marissa's tear-filled eyes could see, surrounded the scene. The leader, a towering man with a silver beard and a leather vest embroidered with the word Guardians, cut his engine and dismounted his bike. His boots hit the wood with heavy finality, each step radiating authority. Without a word, he walked straight toward Marissa and the boys. The bullies' laughter faltered, their bravado cracking under the weight of his silent presence. Marissa sat frozen, her heart racing not with fear this time, but with awe. She had never seen anything like it. An army of strangers appearing out of nowhere, their presence commanding respect in a way the bullies could not possibly match. The man crouched down to Marissa's level, his face softening as his eyes met hers. "You okay, sweetheart?" he asked, his voice deep yet gentle, carrying the weight of a man who knew pain and understood resilience. Marissa nodded shakily, unable to form words. He then turned his gaze on the boys, his eyes hardening into steel. "You think you're strong because you pick on someone who can't fight back," he said, his tone calm yet terrifying in its certainty. The boys stammered, their earlier arrogance slipping like sand between their fingers. Some of the bikers dismounted too, forming a protective circle around Marissa, their engines still humming like growling lions behind them. Tourists who had pretended not to notice earlier now gathered, pulling out phones to record, their shame mixing with relief that someone finally stood up for her. One of the bikers, a woman with fiery red hair and a jacket patched with wings, leaned close to Marissa and whispered, "Nobody hurts you when we're here. Nobody." The boys, cornered and trembling, tried to back away, but the biker's wall was unbreakable. The leader stepped forward again. "I've got a daughter your age," he said, his voice quieter now, though every word was laced with meaning. "If anyone ever treated her like this, I'd hope to God someone would stand up for her. Now apologize." The silence stretched heavy until one boy muttered a weak, Sorry." The others followed, their apologies hollow, their voices shaking. The leader didn't seem satisfied, but he looked back at Marissa and asked, "What do you want us to do, sweetheart? This is your call." For the first time that day, Marissa felt something powerful rise in her chest. Control, choice. She swallowed, her voice trembling but firm enough to carry. "I just want them to understand that people like me matter. That we're not less." Her words silenced even the seagulls overhead. The bikers nodded in agreement, their faces solemn, their respect for her courage etched clearly. The leader turned back to the boys. "You heard her. Now walk away and remember this moment. Remember the girl you tried to break and the strength she showed instead." With that, the boys scattered, shame burning on their faces as they fled down the pier. The bikers didn't chase them, they didn't need to. Justice had been served, not through fists or violence, but through presence, unity, and an undeniable show of protection. Marissa's chest heaved, the adrenaline slowly ebbing away. She looked around at the strangers, this army of leather and steel, and felt something she hadn't felt in years: belonging. The woman with red hair placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You're one of us now," she said softly. "Whenever you need us, we ride for you." The leader lifted her fallen bag, brushing it off before gently placing it back on her chair. "The world can be cruel," he said, his eyes holding hers, "but it's also full of people who'll stand with you when it counts. Don't ever forget that." Marissa nodded, tears finally spilling over, but this time they were not tears of humiliation. They were tears of hope. She looked out at the horizon, the ocean glittering beneath the sun, and realized that the world was bigger than the cruelty of a few boys. It was filled with unexpected allies, with guardians who appeared when least expected, with kindness that could roar louder than hate. The bikers stayed with her for a while, talking, laughing, lifting her spirit piece by piece. They posed for pictures with her, lifted her wheelchair slightly so she could see over the railing, and shared stories of battles they had fought in their own lives. Some had survived wars, others addictions, some had faced loneliness that mirrored her own. And in their stories, she saw herself, different struggles, same resilience. By the time they revved their engines again, preparing to leave, Marissa's heart was no longer heavy. She felt stronger, braver, part of something. As they rode off into the distance, their bikes thundering like a promise, she whispered to herself, "I matter. I really matter." If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe to Always Kend. Share it so more people see that kindness and courage can change the world in ways we don't always expect. And before you go, drop a comment below. What would you have done if you saw Marissa being bullied that day? Your words might inspire someone else to act with courage when the time comes. Because in the end, it only takes one moment, one choice, to turn cruelty into compassion, and one person to remind the world that no life is less than another.